great show today, co-host. I'll let you
I
know.
think so. Is your namesake show.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. All right, stand by.
Alrighty.
As a small biz pro, I saw we roll, using procurement, program and control. As a small biz pro, I saw we grow, using procurement, program and control. I'm a businessman, yes I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes I'm an entrepreneur. Oh yeah, I'm a businessman, yes I'm an entrepreneur.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is the Business Zone with
Crystal.
and the coach Gilbert Buchanan, your small business paramedic today. We're gonna have an amazing show. First of all, I want to say Happy Independence Day to Jamaica, Jamaica, Jamaica.
Oh, okay.
Our
Actually, that was
independence
good
was
timing
yesterday.
then, huh?
Huh?
That was good
Good
timing then, huh?
timing, baby. Good timing. Yes, yesterday was our
Wow.
independence. That's when we got emancipated from the British. We stood our own
Hey.
grounds, and now we're independent. This is the first time you'll hear a man said he's independent.
And I am sure that felt wonderful in the bigger scheme of things.
We are independent of the British. Oh man, how you
Okay,
doing,
okay.
co-host? How you doing?
I am well. I am well. It's been a busy week, but then it seems like all weeks are busy nowadays. So
I
you just have
know.
to take it. Just have to take it and work with it, huh?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. I hear that, man. But I'm
I'm
loving what's going on. The path we're taking on this program. We're looking at doing business with Caribbean nations, which include Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, Tobago, Guyana, and a few others. We just want to let other small businesses know that there are opportunities out in the Caribbean that you can do business with other countries. I mean, other companies in those countries. And it's just a way for you to expand your horizon and make some more money for your business. You don't necessarily have to do business here in the US alone. You can spread your wings. And our series that we're doing here on the Business Zone is about doing business with the Africa Diaspora and the Caribbean. And my co-host has a lot of information on that.
Yeah, I'm excited. I think it's a good segue, and I think where we are today as people, and as business owners, get what I teach, the kids, and I'm always thinking telling them to think out the box, as well as my adult business owners as well. You got to think out of the box. You have to think that business when we talk about a target market, that same target market is all over the world. So we don't just
Right.
have to stay isolated, especially
Uh-huh.
after we've been in business for a number of years, right?
Yes.
You need to, you have to pace yourself, obviously, and you're in different phases of business. But
Right.
when we get to 5, 10, 15 years, now we pretty much have saturated the population that we identified when we first started our businesses. Now we
Yes.
have to be able to branch out. And I was thinking this probably came into my thought process while I was sleeping. And I think you met this guy, but when Recycling Black Dollars was when we were doing our breakfast mixers a couple times, every
Hmm.
month, there
Uh-huh.
was a member, a lifetime member that we had, and he popped in my head last night. I think his name is Mr. Roberson. And Mr.
Roberson. I think I
Roberson,
remember him.
import export, and he
Yes.
was doing it way back then. And I think we may have had him on one of our first shows.
I
I
think
think
we had him on at the Morris Media on the show.
right, exactly. And remember, he did import export by the ticker tape machine, remember? And
Yes,
he
yes,
was like the
yes.
middleman. He would reach out to everywhere to see what they needed, and
Yeah,
then he had connections to all of these different suppliers. So if
right,
they needed uh I don't know, nails, then he had this, and he was doing all this on one of those. It was like, it must have been definitely early, yeah, early .com, because
right,
he would do it on this, and then he'd pull all these, get this information off this ticker tape
right.
thing, and then he would match the suppliers. He gets paid, and that's how. So he was doing this long, like this had to be over 30, 40 years ago. Because when I met him, he had already been doing this for a long time. And so
Yes.
that popped in my head last night while I was sleeping.
See, our minds work the same way, man. We're sleeping while we're thinking about business and elevating these businesses.
Right. And I was thinking about the show. So that's where we need to be. So he was obviously light years ahead of us. And so that's what we're going to talk about today. That's what we've been talking about for the last several weeks. Hi, is that? Thank you. Welcome for welcoming you to the community, to the business zone. So we're calling this our Garvey 2.0 series,
That's
and
right.
we're looking at, this is not just a one-off series. This is going to be something that we're going to be doing, incorporating in the business zone, uh, in order as a part of the platform. And so we're going to be exploring how we as entrepreneurs and those entrepreneurs across the African diaspora can build stronger economic partnerships. We can create wealth. Our real wealth doesn't have to come from the country that we live in. Nobody else does. Everybody else seems to have expanded and received their wealth from all over the world. I
Right.
don't know what is wrong with us. We can do the exact same thing. So, and so that's what we're looking at, expanding opportunities, but together. We're not going to look at just doing this by ourselves. We're going to help walk you guys through it, because I would imagine everybody has a thought process like, well, yeah, but I don't know how to go about doing that. That looks scary. Can we do that? All the millions of thousands of questions that pop into our little head, that, in my opinion, sabotages us from our greatness.
Yeah.
So uh, from some of the response that we've received from the last couple of episodes that we've done, we've heard across America and across all, across the world, that people might be asking, how do we go about doing this? And yeah, this is what I want to do. That's what I usually get. I was like, yeah, or I get big hand claps. I've been telling everybody, like on the community briefing, Gilbert, this is what we're doing, and everybody was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So it almost like the recycle. It's almost like the recycling the black dollars concept is. Oh yeah, that's a fantastic idea, right?
Yeah.
So that's where we are. We're kind of excited. So today, as Gilbert said, and there is no other country we could have started with. And of course, it's the closest one to the United States, but no other country that we could have started with but Jamaica.
That's
And I
what I'm
wonder
talking
why.
about, baby. That's what I'm talking about. And is that, thank you for joining us today in celebration of our
Yeah, so
independence,
let me see.
and also to check in and see what type of opportunities that we can develop with the Jamaican economy, as well as Barbados, Trinidad and Tobago, Guyana, and many more of those Caribbean nations. You'd be surprised some of the businesses that can be done. And you know what's amazing, co-host? I talked about. Remember, I talked about doing business, drone business in Jamaica. I think 2 shows ago, and somebody reached out to me. Uh,
There I
um,
go.
uh, I think her name. Oh, Denise Buchanan. She reached out to me and said, "Hey, I talked to my sister down in Jamaica, and as a matter of fact, they've got a big drone business going on down there as well." So there are opportunities for drone operators, people who want to get involved in the drone business in Jamaica. So this is just another way, guys, for you guys to do business there as well. Trying to enhance the security of the nation, providing security and monitoring on the coastal areas, see who is coming in, who's going out, what type of activities they're doing down there. That's a good way. And, you
And it's
know,
and it's a business, right? That's a very prolific business, a lucrative business up here in the United States. So all countries, actually, to be quite honest, you want
and
to be able to monitor who's coming in and out.
as a matter of fact, a lot of the roofing businesses are using drones right now when they're doing their estimates. They use a drone
Mm.
to go above the roof and fly over the roof and take pictures of the roof so they can get measurement, square footage measurement, those types of things. So in the construction industry, we're seeing that happening. I know when I was at LACCD, when they have developmental projects, they'll have a drone fly over the site, the construction site, and they'll take picture images of the site being prepared and the work activity that's going on. And when we do progress meetings, we would use those pictures and speak about, how the development is coming along. And so there's so many different ways drones can be used, guys. That's just one way. You've got artists, you got a lot of artists, I should say artists, not artists doing, music videos and all of that. And we're doing those videos. You got the drone flying above and taking all type of video of the artist performing or they're doing a song. So even at concerts. So there's so many different ways.
Oh, I mean, they're used everywhere. Real estate now
Real
uses
estate,
it so they
exactly.
can get
That's
it
another
over,
one.
right?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
another one.
And even when there's events, when there's big events and they want to get a topical view of what that looks like, and so they're using drones. So yeah, I think that's a big business, and I know they require certification. So we're gonna find out what is all part of that, and as Gilbert said, that's definitely something that is an opportunity in Jamaica. So what we're doing today is we're launching our what we call our country spotlight series. So every week, every episode that we have, we're going to take a closer look at one country, its strengths, its emerging industries, and most importantly, what opportunities are there for us to grow
Explore.
with the explore and to engage with the entrepreneurs and the business owners that are already existing in the country. And as we said last week, we're not coming in to take over. We're coming in to work with. So that's a
That's
different
right.
that's a different proposal. We're not coming in and taking over their country. They've had that. They know what that looks like. No, we're coming in to see how we can work together. So it's how
Yes.
can you
Yes.
help me and how can I help you? And therefore now we got a win-win situation. So there's some steps to that. So there's no better place, as I just said, than to begin with Jamaica, because we have a Jamaican here with us that came to America, and so now he's gonna explore how to go back to his own country and be able to find some opportunities. And I think this is Gilbert, this is a fantastic time in history.
Yes.
I want to say for us as entrepreneurs, for us as Black people, really acknowledging who we are, what capabilities we have, and that entrepreneurship, as we all know that are entrepreneurs, this is the way you get to wealth. You don't get there by working for somebody else.
Yeah.
Um, and this is a way to leave something for your leave a legacy for your family.
Yes. Doing a 9 to 5 is a good practice, to see how organizations work and learning the dynamics of it. But at some point, you're going to have to graduate to entrepreneurship because if you don't own on your own, and there's no way you can become self-sufficient, take care of the family, take care of community, hire people, increase wealth and revenues. Yeah, there's no way it's going to happen just by working for the man.
Yeah, exactly. So we're getting ready to start that, but before we do, one, we're going to take you. We would love for you to go over to our YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button. Right now, we are streaming live on YouTube, Facebook, couple of Facebooks, as well as in LinkedIn. And so, whoever is watching us, where you're watching us, we're glad to have you. But we'd love for you to go over to our YouTube channel, become part of the Business Zone family, and
Yep.
then tap into all of the greatness that is going to be happening right here on our own platform. We're going to be launching a newsletter that's going to give you some more information, and so we're excited. We hope you are excited too. So with that, Gilbert, do you how was your week? And we'll just do a little bit of chit chat, and then we'll jump right on in this.
Oh, my week has been good. As you know, my mentorship program is still ongoing. So we did class number 8 on Tuesday, where we look at how to become certified with government agencies. So we went over 4 or 5 of the different certifications, but primarily 4 of them with 4 agencies. So we're looking at the certification with LA Metro, the City of Los Angeles, the county, and the state, and then supplier clearinghouse. So we looked at those, and I was guiding our proteges as to which ones they may want to look at first, because those might be more reachable, more attainable. We talk about in our programs all the time, we talk about, dealing with the low hanging fruits. So those are the types of certification I want our proteges to go after first, and then see how it plays out. We all know that if our small businesses go after 6-figure contracts and they get a few of those for the year, 3, 4, or 5, I can easily put them over the $1 million marker. And that's kind of what we're trying to do here. We're not pushing them to do $1 million all at once. We want them to start out small, maybe a $150,000 contract, or 200, 250,000, 300, 400K, and just take it up until they get to that $1 million marker. Um, it's just an amazing thing. So the class was very good. We went over a lot of different dimensions of opportunities that exist with these government agencies, and how the certification can make it a little easier for them. So that was a good thing. So how about you, co-host? How was
Um,
yours?
wow, my week was, I had a lot of coaching clients this week, and some pretty good businesses. These are individuals that's in the MBDA program
Yeah,
cohort that we're doing.
right.
Graduations in a couple of weeks, so they just had to do their pitch competition, or they not a pitch competition, but to do the pitch about their business,
Yeah.
and it was so cute. There was one, again, sometimes it's just so interesting. But the perspective is the perspective, right? And so
Hmm.
this young lady said, I was talking to Cha Cha. We all know Cha Cha is like the guru of marketing out there, and so
Yeah.
she works with. And so this young lady had been coached by Cha Cha, and Cha Cha had was there. They kind of they She was one of the ones that was selected to do her pitch. So
Oh,
she comes to
good.
me and she goes, yeah, so Chacha, she says, Chacha says my numbers are too small. And I said, oh. Now,
What
normally you're
number?
telling
What
somebody your
numbers is
numbers,
she talking about? What numbers?
her annual numbers for the
Oh,
business
oh,
that she was
oh, okay,
doing.
okay.
And normally the numbers are too big, right? The numbers are like way out there in stratosphere land.
Yeah.
And so when I said, well, really? And she said, yeah, and I wasn't trying, I couldn't understand it. I was trying to be conservative. So I said, well, share your presentation. So she did. I was like, oh, this is not even what I call conservative. This is like you not making no money at all. So yeah, she is absolutely right. Your numbers are too small. Hey Pat, welcome, welcome. And I told her, I said, yeah. And she'd been in business for a number of years. I said, for this number of years, yeah, no. And so I had to walk her through exactly how we get to those bigger numbers. And she had a number of items on her menu,
Yeah.
and pricing is big. And so she went,
Mhm.
after we got done, she goes, oh, I see what you mean. The numbers were too small and way too conservative. Why are you even in business if you're gonna make under $100,000? So that was kind of my week, but I spent a lot of it doing coaching this week, and so that's pretty much the whole entire week. And my nonprofit, one of my nonprofits, we're doing an audit, so that's stressing me out to no end. Other than that, it was just a normal week. For normal week for Crystal. Let's put it that way. Normal week for Crystal. So,
It was a
all
little
right,
toned down for you, huh?
a little tone down for me. Yes, yes, for sure. All righty, Gilbert. So you ready? You ready to rock and roll? We ready to
Oh
go, guys.
yeah,
Hope you
we
guys
ready
are
to
ready.
rock and roll. This is gonna be great for us. We're gonna have a great show today, guys. We're gonna uncover some amazing areas in the Jamaican economy. We're picking a Caribbean country to discuss, and Jamaica is the one we're choosing today. And a big part of it is because it was yesterday was Jamaica's Independence Day. So perfect timing and
Mhm.
perfect alignment in the information we're presenting. So yeah.
Okay, and Mr. Gilbert was born and raised there, so he has a little bit of insight in this country.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
And I am sure it has a lot of meaning for you and to you, even though you came here. I'm sure your heart still is in uh, on the island.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I mean, most people who are born somewhere else, they would love to have stayed in those areas, but sometimes economic prosperity and uh, become a driving force. So it forces us to do what we call exodus. Bob Marley said that's movement of the people. So that's what we did. We had to make an exodus to the U.S. in order to enhance economic opportunities. So we came
Mhm.
here, and immediately I got enrolled in the college system, so I got enrolled in the community college. But it's amazing. When most of us from the Caribbean come here to the U.S., right? The education system, the education system there in the Caribbean is so much superior that
Mm.
the folks here cannot believe it. So they're going, "What? You're smarter than the community college people?" And you was only in high school, but that's how it was. We were on the British system. They really, their education system is superb. So um, a lot of the things that my professor at the community college was asking, and I was telling him, he couldn't believe it. He's like, "Well, you learned this in high school?" I say, "Yeah." So, so, so when I did the reports, it's like the reports were so easy for me because it's stuff that I know. It's like not only do you learn it in school, but you live it also. So it makes it easier when you live something, and that's why you see a lot of people in the community, like you, myself, and others, will receive honorary degrees, like an honorary doctorate, because we live those experiences. We live whatever the course is that they're teaching you or the program is they're teaching you in college. you live that in your environment. So that's
Mm.
why it's easier for them to give you like an honorary doctorate because of that. So it was just amazing when I came here. Fitting into the economy was very easy. So after I did my community college stunt, um, I did undergrad, and I did undergrad in less time than many others do it because most people do it in 4 years. Mine was less than
Oh, okay,
that.
okay.
And then I went on to do my master's, and it was just so amazing. I wanted to do the PhD, man, but I was burnt out, and I was sick of school after the master's. I did not want to see another textbook, you know.
Yeah, that's usually what happens after you finish that when you're going through that process and you're getting your master's, then it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I need to work, number
Oh yeah.
one. And number two, I don't want to see another classroom. I don't want another assignment. I want to make some money. And so you
Yes,
get anxious
exactly.
with
Exactly. That's
that.
what it was. And on top of that, I wanted to write textbooks. That's what I wanted to do. And that was the reason I wanted to do my master's, so I can write textbook for the schools.
Oh,
But
okay.
we found out that there's a whole new world of politics involved in that. If you're not part of the good old boys network, you can't write a book and get it at a designated textbook in a university. So
Oh, okay.
was that was one of the things that made me say, okay, I'm just because I did organizational development. That was my specialty. And
Oh, okay.
organizational development is about studying organizational behavior, studying businesses, and that's why I have the knowledge I do about business infrastructure and all of that. Because when you do business, you don't just do basic business and learn one industry or whatever. You learn multiple industry. You learn the dynamics of it, how it works, the infrastructure, the back office, foundation of
Mm,
business. And then they
yeah.
also allow you to do international business as well. So all of that are some of the skills and training that I developed. So it made it easy for me to branch off into entrepreneurship.
Oh, okay. Which makes sense. I mean, the same thing when, accounting did for me because one, you're learning about every type of business, not just one, no one isolated business. So you're learning
Yeah.
the financial structure for a business, no matter how small or how large is, financials are the financial foundation is the finance foundation for every business. So
Oh, for
it
sure.
gives
For
you a
sure.
broader perspective. Let me ask you this, Gilbert. So when you left Jamaica and came here and looking for opportunities, now that what has it been, what, 30, 20, 30 years since you were there when you left?
Yeah, I came here in 1986. So that's what, well, 40 something years.
So
Oh,
43 years.
to be exact, it's my anniversary.
Oh, okay.
1986, and now it's 2026. So that's 40 years, right?
Oh, okay. So
That's
44
40
years
years.
here. So have you seen Jamaica has really, really grown like a lot
Oh
of the
yes.
Caribbean
Oh
islands.
man, they've
So
grown. They've see, the thing about it is, and for those who don't know what goes on in the Caribbean, most Caribbean countries are controlled by the US. So
mm,
the US provide Caribbean nations with loans. They try to oversee their politics. Um, they try to influence who gets in power, who is the prime minister of certain countries, who is the president of certain countries. So that's what they do. But I don't think they understand how Caribbean nations work because, most of us, we revolted from the colonial system. That means we didn't allow the British, the French, the Spanish, the Portuguese, or any of them to control us. We started revolutions. That's how we got our independence. So the US is kind of trying that too, and it's not working. They even tried to assassinate our prime minister back in 1976.
Wow.
Because he wasn't listening to their politics, and he wanted to do things on his own way. So he formed an alliance with Castro in Cuba,
Mm.
and even Russia was providing them resources. So the U.S. didn't like that at all. So they try to do whatever they wanted to do in order to stop it. Just like they did with Haiti.
Okay.
Yeah, those government overthrow that they have there is because of the U.S. and they're trying to influence that. But with Jamaica, it was a different thing because we kicked the British's butt out of out of Jamaica. They couldn't come back. So, yeah. So because of that, we look to other sources for guidance and assistance. So that now the Jamaican economy, they're looking to the Chinese. So the Chinese are investing a lot of money in Jamaica right now. So a lot of the buildings that you see are brand new buildings, multi-level buildings, the communities, the waterfront from that area into downtown areas, all built up. The tourist area, the resorts, those areas are built up. So yeah, they're doing well, man. So a lot of people who have left the country, they're now returning to do business there. And I can say, it's the same thing for many of the other Caribbean countries.
Okay, so this is really a good time, and I know the prime minister today is looking for to build unity amongst the nation national unity. So this is a really good time for
Yeah.
us to be branching out with this topic that we're having,
Oh
and
yeah.
this is not just indicative to Jamaica. This is indicative to many of the 26 countries that are in the Caribbean islands and the West Indies. So I think this is like getting on board, guys. So you're
Yeah.
getting on board to something, a revolution or an innovation that it could be the next century of wealth and innovation. So if you guys take some great notes today, because we really want to introduce Jamaica to you um, and to the entrepreneurs and business owners that you've never seen before. Many of us have been there on a cruise, and many of us have been there on vacation. But
Yeah.
we're going to look at it with a different eyeball
Right.
today. We're going to look at it from opportunity, business opportunity. And so some of the things that I guess Jamaica has become have created innovation in is technology, trade, tourism, and I think most of the islands tourism is a number one aspect of how they generate revenue. But
Yes.
what the key is not to be the only way you drive revenue is through
Right.
tourism and their agribusiness and then their creative industry. So I know, based upon my business partner here, he's very creative
Yeah.
and 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 from the musicians that I absolutely love, Bob Marley, Ziggy Marley, all the Marleys, and Peter Brown, Peter Tosh, all of them very, very creative and actually pretty intellectual as well because they know what's going on from a political space and they generally incorporate it in their music. And so I don't know about the new artists, but I know I have an affinity for reggae music, so those are the ones that I follow and have followed in the past.
That's
So,
right. And music, the music industry is a big industry in Jamaica. It brings in a lot of money, international money. Every year during the summertime, like run about now, from now to October, they'll have festivals, and one of them is Reggae Sunsplash. So
mhm.
have that, and that was in honor of Bob Marley. That started around about then. But then there are also other Jamaican uh, concerts that go on, and a lot of people from across the world, Germany, England, France, you name it, they come to Jamaica. They spend a lot of money, and while they attend these shows, they also spend time at those resorts and hotels. So the country brings in a lot of money that way. I mean, the reggae music is a big um, tourist attraction because people come there, they want to know, they want to learn about Bob Marley. They'll go to his home down at 9 Miles, to visit and see where he lived and, how he got his inspiration. Certain songs that he wrote, he was sitting on his front porch. So they went to the front, visited the front porch that he was sitting on. He has a song called Three Little Birds.
Oh yeah, I love
I
that
said,
song.
3 little birds sat on my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melody pure and true. This is a message to you. Yeah. So that he was sitting on his front porch in the morning. It was like 10 o'clock in the morning. 3 little birds landed on his veranda while he was writing a song. So that's how he came up with that song. So they have the whole story there. So when the visitors, oh my God, I sat on the same porch that Bob Marley sat when he wrote this.
That's so funny.
It's amazing, man. Yeah, the things that tourists do.
I mean, but if you love an artist, you love an artist, and
Yeah,
he was
yeah,
just he was amazing.
yeah.
And then look what he has done. He's created this whole family.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean, he left a legacy of artists
yeah,
right there in his own family, and
oh yeah,
so so he did do some great things. So I think
yeah,
majority of his children are actually performers, aren't they?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Performers and actors and all of that.
Yeah, so there's a legacy thing going on there. So,
Oh
and
yeah.
if you guys didn't know from the little excerpt right there, Gilbert actually also was one of those musicians in the country. And so,
That's true.
uh, before the show is over, we're gonna play a couple of his little clips, and so you guys get a flavor for the music talent of the people that live and in Jamaica. I think that comes from and the islands period, but I think that comes from our heritage, Gilbert.
Oh, for sure, sure.
That whole reggae beat, boy. That is, you feel the soul, you feel the continent, you feel the whole diaspora speaking in the words that you guys are using within the messaging that you're portraying in the music that you
And
sing. So that's
another
go
another
ahead.
thing about the reggae music, a big reason why the reggae music was created is because back in slavery, we needed a way to communicate. Do you see what I'm saying? And
Ah,
the oppressors would tell us, "Hey, you guys can't talk. You're not allowed to talk to each other. You might be planning a coup or a revolution on us. We can't allow that. No talking. Get back to work." So we said, "All right, we'll figure out how we're gonna overcome this stuff." So that's how Patois was developed, because then we spoke in Patois. We took a little English and mixed it with the African language and created Patois. So we're talking, but they don't know what we're saying. They're like, I don't recognize anything they're saying. What are they saying? Are they trying to kill us?
your own communicate. I tell you, we're definitely some very innovative people, and so and we use what we have in order to make to survive what we had to go through. So, but now that Jamaica is changing, so Gilbert, tell us a little bit about what, and I know you've talked about some of this already, the universities and the highly educated. And let me ask so many people: did everyone know that? I mean, because that's the thing, right? People think when We're the only people.
Yeah, they didn't know that, and it was exemplified when I came to the U.S. because I went to a community college upstate New York, right?
Okay.
It's called Broome Community College. So while I was there, and the professor, he was, you know, he had colonial tendencies. I'll just put it that way. He had
Okay.
colonial tendencies. So when I say certain things, he would challenge me and say, "Oh, how do you know that?" And then when I start spitting facts to him and telling him, my justification, he go, "Oh, okay, all right." Because one of the things is, as you know, a lot of Americans, college kids, they don't pay attention to civics or geography or things like, or whatever happened in the government. They
Uh-huh.
never paid attention to that. But those are things. If you come from a Caribbean nation, those are things that you have to know. Your survival depends on those things. You got to know the government works. You got to understand the politics. You got to understand the parties, the party system, parliament. Here we call it House of Representative and the Senate. So all of them put together, we call it parliament. So you got to know how parliament works. Who is a majority and who is a minority and who has the vote and who can influence certain things. So those are things that we learn. So when I was spitting those facts, oh man, the colonizer, he didn't like that. He didn't like that. What do you know? Who told you that?
Yeah, like
So,
I say, we have here in America, boy.
oh
It's a
yeah,
little when you leave and go to other countries, you see, and I've always said that people from out of the country are, you have a much more of an international flair about you,
yeah,
and more worldly, I think, definitely more worldly
right.
than a lot, and I came from the East Coast, uh, just below the Canadian border, and even the education I got was definitely different
Oh yeah,
than
oh yeah.
than
You
you.
were right there at Buffalo and Canada, right there at the
Yeah,
border, right?
yeah, at the border.
Yeah,
Yeah, so we
yeah,
had
man.
some. There was
You
some.
know, you know. I'll say this, and I'm not trying to brag. I'll say this. I think the educational system on the East Coast is much, much stronger than it is on the West Coast
Yeah,
because, there are so many things that we learned there on the East Coast. And remember, we had Lisa Brown on, and we were
yeah,
talking about she's from Baltimore, so she understands. She went through that system, but we learn on a higher level. I was telling somebody, I don't remember who it was. I said, man, I came here to the West Coast, man, and I think I lost some brain cells because certain words that I used to use in my reporting and my writings and all, I don't even use them anymore. I don't even remember them. I think I got dumber.
yeah. It's a little bit of no shade, but man, yeah, it's a little bit of a difference. Not throwing any shade at anybody. We love our California friends, but or West Coast friends, but yeah, it's a little bit different. I think maybe it's the hardship of the weather. I
Yeah,
got
I
so
don't
much
know
fun
what it is, man, but
studying during the
they
summertime.
yeah, they taught us on a certain level, and it was good. I mean, we resisted at first, but after a while we embraced it, and then now we realize, wow, that was good for us. And in addressing your question about how things are changing and all of that, the workforce is very educated, you know, because we have a university there in Jamaica. It's called University of the West Indies.
Uh huh.
So for you to get to that, you have to qualify educationally, to get in there. You can't just go. You see, like how here you get into Harvard and all of that. You
Yeah.
gotta qualify. That's how they do it there, man. So your grade that you get out of high school, because the high school was similar to college.
Uh-huh.
The grades that you get out of there, you got to be top tier to be admitted to the university. So
Mm.
that's how it is, man. So the workforce is very educated, and it's evident, when you go to visit and you go to those tourist resorts and you listen to how the people there speak, you can tell they know a little something about a little something,
Mm.
so that, and the universities, like I say, of course, English is our primary language. So a lot of people, I was in an Uber yesterday. I was talking to the driver. He's from
Mm-hmm.
Algeria.
Okay.
So he was asking me about Jamaica, and I told him, I said, yeah. I said, what language you guys speak? I said, English. He said, English? Really? You guys speak English over there? I said, yes. He was shocked. He was surprised because he didn't think we spoke English. He thought we spoke something else.
Right. Maybe. Well, the other countries, there's Spanish and French there, and Portuguese in
Yes,
your country, since Great Britain was the colonizer. The English
exactly.
English would be the language. Let me ask this question from so why Jamaica? Why would we great them in English? Because that's one of the first things. You don't have to have the barrier of another language when you're coming to do business. So what
Right.
are some of the other things? But before I ask that, when you guys went to school, elementary, or before you got to secondary school, did you guys have to pay for school?
No, actually, we didn't have to pay at all. We didn't pay for high school, um, primary school, none of that.
Okay.
College, none of that.
For college either?
None of that. We didn't have to
Wow.
pay. I think now they're doing it. They're charging some money, but before we didn't have to pay anything, man.
Wow, and get a high education and you didn't have to pay for it. That's
Didn't have
amazing.
to pay.
Mm.
Have to pay at all.
So why would we think and what we guys want you guys to do by the time we're done with this is the question. There's a couple questions we want you to ask yourself, but one of them is, how do I become part of this movement? Because I think that's what we really should be looking at. That
Yeah.
this is a movement, because it's an opportunity for all of us to actually be able to expand our business, and at the same time make connections with a country that have similar history to ours. And um, and I think there's Jamaica's national identity is out of many. There's one people, and
Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
what we need to think about from a diaspora. Out of many, we're all
One
one
people.
people, and so that's what we're. That's kind of what our I guess our vision is, and our also purpose for inspiration for doing the series that we're doing. So
Right.
with that, Gilbert, so why would an American or an entrepreneur here really feel that Jamaica is a place that has business opportunities for them?
Well, first of all, the culture is one of an entrepreneurial culture. So most of the people, most of the people you encounter in Jamaica, they're always selling something. They're selling a product or a service. They're always selling, man. And even when you're on the highway, you're driving, you'll see people, selling food or some kind of clothing or some type of memorabilia or something. They're always selling something. So that brings towards the attraction of commerce, people wanting to do. So it makes them more willing to want to do business with a foreign person who comes down there. Now, the if the proposal is right in terms of fairness, they'll quickly take it. They'll quickly take it, and a big part of that is the unemployment rate is very high. It's very high, so that's another reason why there's entrepreneurship going on. Because as you know, in any region, when unemployment rate is high, then folks become entrepreneurs. You remember back in 2020 when COVID hit us.
Yeah.
People didn't have jobs because nothing was open, but people became creative and they start developing devices or different type of things that public will purchase. And that's how the entrepreneurship um, elevated back in 2020. Same thing in Jamaica, because the unemployment rate is so high. I think
Mm.
it's hovering about 30 going on to 35-40%. So as a result, people, they become creative because they got to take care of their family. There's no unemployment there. There's no social security there. There's none of those types of programs to help sustain a person. So entrepreneurship is all we know. so
Ah. So
so
is
yeah,
that where the
but
term "you must be Jamaican because you got 9 jobs"
got
come
nine
from?
jobs, man. And the other thing about why someone would want to go there to do business is it's a very fertile territory. There's so much more to do, and as you can see, there's a growing need for digital services down there. With regard to the phone system, I believe there's one phone carrier there. So if we have two or more phone carriers to introduce their services there, then that would make things more competitive. The rates will be lower. People will get to participate in that type of commerce. So, and even the folks who have stores, they can survive selling phones or phone devices, all of that. You know, they're expanding technology companies down there. So with the technology from the US and other countries, going there can help to make things a little easier. So I believe that would be another way for um, uh, a company to want to do business there. Um, it's a strategic access point, way Jamaica is located. It's right
Mm.
there in the middle. It's south of Cuba,
Mm.
and it's let's see, it's west of Haiti and Santo Domingo. There are
Okay.
other nations there. There's a cluster of little islands right there that it would make it easy for whichever business from the US trying to conduct business there, make it easy. They can do business all those little islands and expand their revenue. So
Hmm.
yeah, it's a good place to do business.
Awesome. And you mentioned the unemployment rate, and I would imagine if it's unemployment rate for adults, then it's definitely the unemployment rate for children or young people is probably even higher. So for me, when I look at educating young people to become entrepreneurs, that would be a great opportunity for those of
Right.
us that are in the educational field,
Yeah.
or those of us that have programs that can help people better themselves, their station in life, so to speak.
Right. So
Yeah. So awesome.
so so the younger folks, see, that's another opportunity I see, co-host.
Hmm.
You're running a youth entrepreneurship program called Biz uh,
Camp.
Biz Camp, right? So
Hmm.
a
Hmm.
program like that would work well in Jamaica, because if the youth or enroll in a program like yours, it will help to build their entrepreneurial skills. I mean, a lot of folks in Jamaica, they've got entrepreneurial skill, but it's raw. It's raw skills. Uh, you know, yeah, it's raw, man. So if they get trained like how we trained our entrepreneurs, that would
Yeah.
really help, because we're teaching processes, we're teaching systems, we're teaching infrastructure. So all of those things would really help them understand why something happened. Like, excuse me, like us, for example, we talk about the business being divided into four sectors. You got the business planning, general operations management, business development and marketing, and then cash flow management. So that right there would really help them to understand why certain things need to be in certain place in certain order. You know, when we look at when we look at it's like we had a guest on this show and he talked about the deck of cards. It's like a deck of cards.
Oh
In
yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah, in the cards you've got four different suites, right, in the card.
Mm-hmm.
So those four suites would represent the four sectors of a business. Then each sector has 13 different cards, right? So for each sector, those are the documents you need to run the business, those 13 documents or however much more. But
Right.
13 will be the key. So for each one of the suites, you've got 13 cards that tally up to 52 cards. So it's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing. That system, that process right there, if we're teaching that entrepreneurship uh, system to the young Jamaicans or even adult Jamaican entrepreneurs, that would really help them to better understand why the system, their business need to be structured in four sectors and why each one of those documents is important to the running and successful operation of the business.
Oh, okay. Yeah, exactly. Some of the same reasons here, right? And
Yeah,
the whole key of being an entrepreneur is to, seek out or identify a problem and
yeah,
then fix that problem, right? And
yeah,
so for those, that's how we're wired. That we see
right.
opportunity in everything. And so if you help a person to be able to see that opportunity, then that changes the image that we have about ourselves first of all,
Yeah,
but then now we're looking to grow our own countries now,
yeah,
and we're creating opportunities and jobs for them. And that's another reason, guys, for those of us that have been in business for a long time. And we all get to a place, and I think we're always searching for something new. After we done mastered one element of our business, you're always going, okay, this is the same old stuff. I need to do something different, right? I need
right.
to I need to grow, because we got to grow in our own businesses as well.
Yeah,
And so this is that growth for a lot of you. This is that stage where it's time to grow out, and opportunities here may be limited because of what's happening economically, geopolitically in our country right now.
right.
So being able to jump out of that particular frying pan and move over into a new field of opportunity seems to me like a right direction for all businesses, right? Is
Yeah.
always seeking out new opportunities. And so um
And
and
the five industries that really stand out that creates opportunities, uh, you know, in the technology and digital space, you got the software development part of it, right?
mm-hmm.
There's quite a few people who are into the software development. Now we've got software development here, but them working together can really enhance that process, that approach. And then with AI now, a big thing, that would help a lot as well. Cybersecurity, that could help with customs and with some of the other, even this prison system, the jail system, that would help a lot. Um, I know back in the day, here, when you get pulled over here by a traffic cop
Mm-hmm.
and they ask you your name, if you don't have your driver's license or your registration, you can give them your name and your social. They plug it into the system and they know who you are.
Okay.
They know if you lied to them or not. See, that in Jamaica would be a big development, because if they have that digital system, that software system to provide that and cybersecurity. So when they pull over people on the street, if they get a false name, they can tell real quickly if this person is lying or not. So that would, to me, is an opportunity for a business here in the US to form an alliance there with the Jamaican government to help out. the police department, the jail system, all of that.
Yeah, I think that's excellent. And so, if I had a company, a consulting firm here in Los Angeles, or if I was a marketing agency in Los Angeles, in Atlanta, anywhere in this country, now I could partner with someone, maybe a software company firm within Jamaica,
Yeah,
and then we could do business together. Because one of the things here, when like even when we're talking to kids about software development, is almost as if is our country too saturated, right?
yeah,
Where is my entry point here, right? Because AI is like the biggest thing since string cheese.
right,
But do I have an entry point here,
right.
or but here there are entry point for you, right? You take your company or you're developing something, and then they have the engineers and so forth, and it's
Yeah,
not and so now you're partnering and you guys are building something together. Now that's a great partnership and a collaboration, which is what we're really kind of looking at, right?
yeah,
Is we may have bottomed out here, and mainly because there's so it's like at one point we had way too in California we have way too many attorneys, so it's
yeah,
really hard to pass the bar exam here because that's how they control how
yeah,
many attorneys are going to be here in the state. When you have more attorneys than you actually have need,
yeah,
um, but in other countries, uh, and so the technology countries, I mean the technology and digital services here at overflow, but
yeah.
they're not overflow, say in Jamaica.
Right. And another thing, you had asked earlier, why would a business want to go from here to Jamaica to do business? Another thing is the natives, they understand the landscape, they understand the area, they understand the culture. So that's the part that they could bring an advantage to an American business over there. They can show them, hey, this may work here or this may work in that region. This other approach that you're trying to do, not going to work. Just like when I was at Metro and I was doing marketing in the San Fernando Valley area, doing marketing to the folks, the residents there. I was marketing the Metro. They're building a rail system in the San Fernando Valley area, but which is heavily Latino based.
Mm,
So in order for us to really get cooperation from those communities, we got to speak their language. We got to identify with the things that are important to them, their custom, their culture, and it's the same
right.
thing. The same thing in Jamaica. A business from here would have to identify with the culture, the customs. Make things happen, and that would push things farther along. Or otherwise, it will be a stalemate. Things
Mm,
wouldn't. So those are things why I recommend, doing business. And again, it's another demographic for them to do business in, generate more money, using the labor force there as well, which may not be as expensive as the US labor force, because certain jobs here, uh, it might be about $30 an hour. There, it might be a little less. Could be $20 an hour. You see what I mean?
mm-hmm. Yeah,
So, yeah.
that's great. And so we have technology. And what are some of the other opportunities or other industries that a person could look at?
So,
Um,
so the agribusiness is a big thriving business there. I mean, it's evident from back in the slavery days how they planted sugar cane. They had sugar cane that they used. That was a big multi-million dollar industry crop for the planters and the colonizers who did that.
mm-hmm.
So, and then when sugar started failing in the marketplace because, they somehow honey was introduced to the marketplace. So they did beet first. They did beet, BEET,
Okay.
which is I guess it's a fruit or a vegetable. I don't remember which one it is, but
I
that
think it's
had
a food.
sugar in it too. So
Mm-hmm.
they were using those as substitutes that for the sugar cane.
Mm.
So that and honey. So that's why the sugar cane industry was threatened. So and so then when that started dying out, then they had to come up with another crop, and that's when they came up with coffee and cocoa. You know, but then those products had to be manufactured in a different region because for the sugar cane, you got to be on a flat land, you know, near water. It's got to be in the sun, you know, sunshine and all of that to make it grow. But with a coffee, that those are produced in the mountains, you know, and the mountain is thick. Is a lot of trees in those areas, so you have coffee as a business that they can use. Now, I believe that no company has really mastered the production or distribution of Blue Mountain coffee as yet. I mean, some people they import it here and they sell it, but I don't think they really understand the power of that coffee because that coffee tastes different. It doesn't
Mm.
taste like regular coffee here, and it's very expensive because it's being imported. So if a company can have a licensing deal or an agreement with the Jamaican manufacturers of Blue Mountain coffee, that could be a big business. They can export that to France, England, Germany, even South Africa. You know, they can do it to those nations and make a killing. You know, then you have the black castor oil, which is an oil that is used by women in their hair. You know, African
Mm-hmm.
American, well, black women. Black women. You know, they use it in their hair and also on their skin. You know, because it's a great moisturizer.
Yeah.
So that's another product that can be capitalized on. I don't see anyone, you know, really doing high business in that area. That's another product that they can use. The cocoa, we talk about cocoa.
Mm-hmm.
Cocoa is produced there. Spices, you know, spices that go way back to slavery days because when they were transporting the slaves from West Africa to the Caribbean, they pick up meat along the way, and because these journey would take 2-3 weeks for them to get from Africa to Jamaica, then they had to marinate the meat a certain kind of way, and they use spices, you know. So you
Mm.
got ginger, you got pimento, black pepper, you know, all of those different types of things that they use to cure the meat and make it last. So spices, that's another thing. See, I talk about pimento. Not too many
Yeah.
people talk about that here, but pimento is very important. It's a staple. When we cook, we use pimento. It gives your food, your meat and fish and chicken flavor, man.
That's the little red thing. I think we only use it for certain things here.
No, it's
But
a black one. It's a black one.
oh, okay.
It looks like the black pepper, but it's a little bigger, and
Oh,
it's
okay.
it's got great flavor to it, man.
Okay. Okay.
And then the
So
tropical fruits, woo wee, the mangoes, the pineapple, the bananas, man. And the thing I love about the fruits, they're natural. There's no preservatives or like I did some reading the other day, and they said the bananas that they manufacture here in the U.S. They inject some kind of chemical in it that makes the bananas, force them to ripen,
yeah,
right?
every
And
fruit.
then it tastes rubbery,
Mm-hmm.
so I don't know what that is, and they're saying it's cancerous. But in the Caribbean nations, these fruits are made to be ripened naturally. They'll stay on the tree until they're ripened, or they'll pick them, and then they put them like in a dark room, and that forces it to get ripe faster. You see what
Right.
I mean?
Yeah, and a lot of stuff is frozen and then taken back out to
Yeah.
let it do. So as a gardener, I know the difference now. I definitely know the difference between food, vegetables and fruit that have been
Yeah.
homegrown versus those that have been manufactured here, or fertilizer and all that sort of stuff. So that's one of the things that I have noticed when you go to other countries. The food is, oh my God, so
And it
fresh.
tastes so different, you know?
Oh, so you can taste the flavor,
Yeah.
whereas here there are other, one has been frozen. So for one thing, it doesn't taste. You don't it, and they pulling it before it's really ripe. So that's
So
a
in speaking about agribusiness, right? There's a product in Jamaica that any company from here who is in the agro space, they can make a killing on it, because this fruit, it
mm-hmm.
helps to prevent cancer. It's called soursop.
Ah,
Okay.
yeah, I've been hearing a lot about soursop
Yes.
lately.
Yes. That help to prevent cancer. So any company that has the manufacturing facility, or they don't even have to manufacture it here. They can have it manufactured in Jamaica and then have it exported here, and work out a deal or however they want to do it, and then use that product in their bid to prevent cancer. And they don't have to go do any scientific stuff to it. They can just serve the fruit as is, because in its natural state, and that would be organic and firm enough to help people. So
Mm.
that's another money maker right there.
Yeah, I can see Gilbert. I can see all kinds of opportunities for those of you out there that are in different industries. But the black-owned beauty industry, and that's my biggest thing is there's big money out there,
Yeah.
but we're not utilizing it. But just think, a lot of the black castor oil, the fruits, the spices, the shea butters, the tropical fruit. These are ways you can create product that is not here on this shelf,
Right.
but you can create get your product if you have a hair care product or you're thinking of a hair care or beauty product. And this is a place where you can go and create and see an opportunity to utilize the natural wonderfulness that is growing out of its grounds in order to create natural products that are cancer free, and that's a big thing going on right now in America, for hair care products and skincare products for black people, that are causing a lot of problems, and some of them have cancerous elements to them, and it's really coming from the fertilizer. So this is a way you guys could do that in developing your product in that country, and then wellness products, especially food business, like you just said, the Blue Mountain coffee,
Yeah.
and then online retailers. So you don't have to be there,
All right.
although it wouldn't be bad. You don't have to be there.
Right.
You could be right here, and eventually that might become a second home. Who
Mm-hmm.
knows? But
Yeah.
whatever it is, it's giving you opportunity. And so I can see that in the agribusiness, because there's so many things that's based upon that. And here in America, our natural foods are limited based upon what's been going on in our geopolitical arena. And
Yeah.
so new opportunities for you, right? So you guys might want to really think about that, and if that's your space, then you want to really do some research in that area. We're going to give you guys some steps at the end of this presentation today, or our show today, and also there are organizations. It appears, Gilbert, I've done some research that Jamaica's government and the private sector has launched some major incentives to connect international partners with
Yeah.
local micro, small, and medium-sized enterprises. So they're open to it.
Yeah.
So we need to get ourselves together so that we can come as well with opportunities that it becomes a win-win situation.
Can can I also interject another area in which businesses from the U.S. can do business with Jamaica successfully?
What's that?
Now, we talked about the soursop that is prevents cancer, right, in
Mhm.
the body.
Mhm. Mhm.
But there are other plants and other herbs in Jamaica that is really good for cleansing the intestine, cleansing the intestine. Now,
Mm.
a lot of people that you see, specifically men that you see out there in the marketplace, they got big bellies, right? So people call it bear bellies, right? They call it bear
Yeah.
bellies, but it's not necessarily a bear belly. It's that they have parasites in their belly. It's in their
Yes.
intestines, and because of that, the gas that's emitted from these parasites makes the thing, right? But the plants and herbs that I'm talking about, that can help to eradicate those parasites from your intestine. So a company from here would do very well doing that kind of business in Jamaica, building an alliance, obtaining those plants and herbs, and making it available to folks. I mean, a lot of people wouldn't have to go to doctors to be cleansed of those things. It would just be a natural thing. So I know that the medical industry here will try to fight against that because they did that to Dr. Sebi.
Mm.
Dr. Sebi was a herbalist, and I think he's from Jamaica.
I think he
And
was from Jamaica.
yes, and he provided a lot of natural remedies like sea moss that people can drink, and it would help your joints, your ligaments, your body, and they got him out of the way. But there are people who are still in his uh, operation that's still selling those products, and it's helping a lot of people. So it's the same thing with those parasite uh, cleansing herbs and teas and plants that can be utilized in commerce as well. So that's another thing I wanted to put out there, co-host.
I think you are right on because obviously I'm a very naturalist kind of person, and so in my garden, one of the things I'm doing is growing herbs that can help with healing and
Yeah.
just making your body stronger.
Oh
And
yeah.
at one point, like you said, when Dr. Sabi was alive, that's what we are into as well because it comes
Yeah.
from our heritage.
Yeah.
And but just think here, if you were doing business in Jamaica and you're an online retailer, then we can buy wherever we're going to buy from
Yeah.
in the online platform, and it happens every day. And there's social media platforms that are international. So here, the biggest thing is the pharmaceutical companies wanting you to be reliant on drugs. You don't
Yeah.
have to be reliant on drugs. You can
Right.
actually look at the natural components that are here. So working with a country that we already know everything is healthy
It's
and
natural.
natural. This is a good way for you to do that and create that partnership and then be able to come together. They provide the product, develop the platform, and then you're selling. Could be selling from there if you want to, because you don't necessarily have to sell from here. And but your marketplace is here. Everybody that you do business with is here. You have an established network of customers based upon whatever you're doing. So
Right.
they're already here and they're more likely online. And
Yeah.
so to me, that's a no-brainer when it
Yeah.
comes to when it
That's
comes to
true.
coming together, right? That's a
That's true.
no-brainer kind of situation. So, this is what we're doing, guys. Not telling you what to do, just opening up your mind and letting you know that the opportunities are actually out there, and
Yeah.
all it requires from you is a willingness to want to do it.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So next is tourism. So moving beyond hotels, because tourism is beyond that, right? But what
Yeah.
if we think about it, everybody here wants to do something, go somewhere different. When you go to another country, you're scouring what you should do and how you should do it. I know every time I go to When I came back from Cairo the second time, there was a list of people calling me going, I'm going to Cairo next. I saw your pictures and I'm going next year. Can you tell me what I should do and where I should go and what hotels I could stay at?
Yeah.
And I'm like, did I become a tourist guide?
Yeah.
And and so for those of you that have gone to other countries and absolutely loved it and gone back several times, this is a prime time for you to create a business. If you're in the tourism or the travel business, a business that's taking people from here to a culture, to a country that you have done your due diligence in, and a country that has a cultural background very similar to yours, has a heritage background. They also fought for their independence and they were not joking about it. So a real understanding of colonial Japan, Jamaica versus colonial America, whole different ball game.
Yeah.
Um, the creating wellness retreats. Oh my God, that would be awesome. We just talked about the reason for that, right? And culinary experiences. If you want to go there and really experience Jamaican food, here Gilbert has to search down his little favorites, and then he becomes a part of the fixture until he can't be there anymore because the company that the restaurant that moved or gone out of business. So you don't have to do that. We can go back to the country that you came from, Gilbert, and explore all of the great eats and the experiences as well. That used to be when we were in the studio. That used to be something Gilbert and
Yes.
I did every week. We went up to what's the name of that place?
It's used to be called Caribbean Kingston Cafe.
Kingman, yeah. And we were there, and the food was fantastic. And
Yeah.
he'd taken up home for the weekend, but he
Yeah.
got to come all the way over here in order to get to his Jamaican food.
And
So fun.
my co-host, when we go places to eat, she would say, do you certify this place? Do you think this food is good? You think it's good enough? Then I
Yeah, you
tasted
got to
it.
always ask,
I
right?
said,
You always got to ask
order
somebody
not.
from the country if they would eat there, then you know whether or not you should eat there.
That's
And it
true.
hasn't been Americanized. You always have to do that.
That's
If
true.
you're in the event planning business, great place for conferences, business conferences. And then this, because we are talking about the diaspora heritage tours. My gosh,
Yeah.
we did. I had some friends that were doing that, um, and they have done that like in Italy, and they've gone to other places that they used to take groups of women from here. Now they do Dubai. But why not go to a country that looks like us? Everybody looks like us, and we know the
Yeah.
food is going to be good. So those are some ways when we talk about tourism. Yes, there are hotels. You have to create relationships with those individuals. You have to connect with local tourist guides and so forth, and local establishments, which now will help grow their business by you bringing tour buses of people from here. And I don't know what the visa. It's not. I mean, I can't. I went to Jamaica the first time I went on a cruise, so the
Yeah.
visa wasn't an issue at that time.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the
There
visa.
wasn't any visa necessary at the time when I went. So who knows? Maybe things have changed now. So just
Right.
got to check it out first. But the one thing I wanted to say, co-host, and you and I have talked about this. We're planning these things. We're planning uh, tours. We're planning on business tours to take you guys together, take you to countries like Jamaica and others, so you guys can check out their business environments and see if it's something you want to do business in. See if the folks there are compatible with you. If you want to try to conduct business with them. So we want to do, like a trade tour, do a trade tour to these countries. So these are things we're working on right now. So if you guys are interested, reach out to us, send us an email or a text if you got our numbers, and just say, hey, I'm interested in this tour, this trade tour to Jamaica, Barbados, Trinidad, or whichever one of these countries. So that's what our plans are going to be.
Yeah, we're just not telling you and then gonna leave you guys on your own because we know that don't really work. This may sound fantastic, but the actual initiative to make it happen is a little bit can be a little bit more challenging for some people, not everybody, but some
Yeah,
people need to be held handheld. But in the tourism space, you don't have to compete with something that's already there. What
right,
you're going to do is build your business around that tourism, and so therefore you're not going to compete with it. You're going to augment it, right? Because you're going to be
right,
bringing people to hotels and restaurants and supporting the local business people to help them grow. And so that's what we want. That's what we're envisioning. And I hopefully you guys can see this as well. And I hope your innovative genes are starting to pop, because when Gilbert and I heard about this, it was like, yeah, that's a darn good idea. What the heck? We already see opportunities for how we can fit in this space.
right,
Um, because of the fact that we are educators and we provide a service, so we can go anywhere with our business. And but for people here that are in the food business, which is very challenging here in
right.
America, especially now, why stick here, right? And why not change it a little bit,
Yeah.
tweak it a little bit so it fits in another environment.
Build
So
around it. Build around
build
it. That's
around
it.
it, build around it. That's what we are saying. Think about it, build around it. So so like all of our countries or all of African diaspora countries, creativity comes out of our ears, come out of every pore on our body. That's just who the
That's
heck
right.
we are.
That's true.
So it goes without saying, this next topic that Gilbert's going to talk to you about, that it's that creativity definitely has to be happening in Jamaica.
Oh yes. Oh yes. So as we know, most of these Caribbean nations, the culture is so strong and so thick, and it encompasses a lot about music. It's about dance. It's about film, fashion, animation, and there are certain digital content to the fact as well as gaming. But one of the areas that I mean, the reggae music trend started in the '60s. Like 1962, '63, just about the time when we had our independence. Our independence was 1963, and music was very powerful then because, as you know, in any culture, music brings people together. People like to dance, people like to sing, and just express themselves. And that's where you hear vocal extravagance. Some people express themselves vocally, and others just love to listen to them sing. So the music was a big part of my development when I was in Jamaica. And I was inspired by this one singer called Dennis Brown. He's deceased now, but he was just so mellow. His songs, the effort, the way in which he sings, it was just so amazing. So, and the one thing I realized, some people have natural talents, but some people they have to train your voice and train your musical verbosity. So I didn't get as much training as he did, but I was able to cope with what the training I got, plus with his influence on me and his guidance. So I think today, co-host, we have I think I get three songs that
Yeah, we do have a couple of your music.
yeah,
I was thinking maybe we'll run it right at the before we end up, which we should be doing very shortly.
yeah,
And run through these others real quick. And what we want you guys to know, that just like in our other last week, we're going to kind of give you some steps on what you can do and how to
yeah,
get started, and then from there, some business tips that you need to do in order to be ready while you're getting this started.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then before we close out, Gilbert, I'd say we'll play a couple of your clips here.
Yeah.
You good with
Yes.
that?
So I'm good.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
Okay, okay. So, but you know, I can see just like Gilbert when he was young, this is what he did. So that's an amazing opportunity for our musicians here who are looking for new ways to break out. And we got some very talented musicians today. And to be able to look at doing some collaboration, and they can collaborate over the internet. They don't even have to go.
You know what's amazing, co-host? A lot of
But
American and other singers have been collaborating with Jamaican singers. Some of those singers are like, uh, gosh, Rihanna. Rihanna is one of them.
oh,
She's
okay,
done some songs on reggae rhythms. She did. You've heard of Gregory Isaacs, right?
I have. Uh-huh.
So the night nurse song was, she did a song on that rhythm. It was just amazing, and the way she ride the rhythm and the way in which she did a good job. So you have her, you have even Beyonce teamed up with Sean Paul,
Yeah.
and did some Jamaican songs as well. Um, uh, there's a few others here. You
Hmm.
got gosh, I can't think of his name right now.
Well, you got a lot of young ones that are coming up that are
Yes.
collaborating with Jamaica. That beat is just, you know,
Yeah.
I was exposed to reggae when I was skiing. That's a big part of the skiing popular network. In
Yeah.
fact, when you're on chairlifts heading up to the top of the mountain, that's usually what's playing is reggae music. And then we all, you know, I was a part of the Black Ski Club, so that was all
Oh.
part of our nighttime party time when we got back to a pre-ski. So skiing in the daytime, in the morning time, and then coming out in the evening and listening to reggae beats is one of the things we do. In fact, my girlfriend, you know, she's from Cuba. We're going to a Caribbean thing that's at the beach. I think at the end of the month. I think it's at the
We're
28th.
in Long Beach. In Long
No,
Beach.
it's going to be in Venice Beach.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
free.
yeah.
I'll send it over the whole
They they
weekend thing.
they have it in Venice. They have it at UCLA,
Yeah,
and then they have it in Long Beach. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
or
So and so
even at the the bowl. What's the name of that?
Hollywood Bowl. I mean the Hollywood
Hollywood
Bowl.
Bowl. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
And sometimes, yeah, at the Hollywood Bowl, and sometimes at the Ford one that's across the street from it. So
yeah.
that music is just infectious,
It's
and
infectious. It
you
very
just
is.
reggae is I think it's a language breaker because
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yes,
matter
it
where you
is.
come
It
from
is.
and who you are. There's just no way you can't get into that. And the drums and the music, it's just the whole thing. So
Yeah.
that's definitely, like I said, in the creative space, guys, the young people, that's where they are, right?
Yeah.
The whole that's their space. And logistically, Jamaica is a gateway, and that's
Yeah.
why we call this the innovative gateway because it's between North America, South America, Latin America, the Caribbean, Europe, Africa. Uh, it's a gateway to where trade happens, right? And
Yeah.
so the waters are there, and so that's what if you're looking for import export, we don't have to just rely on what's happening here with the tariffs.
Right. I was
You
just
can have
gonna
a different
mention
home
that.
base for this.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that. That's a good point right there.
Yeah, yeah. So it's because the future, I'm sure if Jamaica is working and has an initiative in this incentives to make opportunities available, then part of that is the ports that are there and the logistics to that. And for those of us in California, we right there on a port too.
Yeah.
Um, California is all there for us. So just something that we should be thinking about as business owners. How do these are we're laying out the scenarios for you guys on how you can really start to think, how can this fit with my business, right? And
Right.
so you um it, and as we said before, this is not about us going in, storming into any of these islands, any of these countries. This is about us. Um, we're not trying to help them. We're not Mother Teresa. We're coming in to see how, as entrepreneurs, we can build relationships and partnerships that can help us be able to work together. So that we
Right.
ain't coming in as the missionaries.
Right. We're not trying to be any charity case here,
Right.
we're we're trying to establish partnership and relationship. Is I don't know what the studio timing is here, when you rent a studio, but in
Uh
Jamaica,
huh.
because the dollar exchange is $1 is equivalent to $155.47. So,
Wow, that's more than my nieces in
oh yeah,
Cairo.
oh yeah, the money stretches farther. It stretches farther. So those are just things to think about. If we're doing partnerships or building relationships, the money converts very well, so you get a lot more mileage out of your U.S. currency when you take it to Jamaica and you try to do business.
That's
So
great.
we're thinking of collaboration. That's what we're trying to do. Uh, we're looking at what Jamaican businesses want and what they're looking for. They're looking for partners. They're looking for folks that they can team up with. They're looking for the technology, enhanced technology, because they do have technology, but the U.S. May have a little stronger uh, position on the technology. So teaming up would really help while you're being paid for it. Investments is another thing. There's a lot of areas there to invest in. Um, the market access, that is beautiful because you get access to Jamaica. Jamaica is a trendsetter in the Caribbean. So you get access to Jamaica, you get access to a lot of the other Caribbean nations. We're talking like Belize, we're talking like, Barbados, Trinidad, Tobago. And you know what's amazing, co-host? I listen
Mhm.
to the way people speak in a lot of these countries. And they speak the language that Jamaica speak, Patois. They speak Patois. So
Yeah.
I'm going, wow, it's amazing because they're not speaking their own language. They're speaking Patois, which is ours. So that's just amazing. So we're looking at expansion. We're looking at providing new supplies or obtaining new supplies from Jamaica and other Caribbean nations. We're looking into, establishing new markets, which is always a welcome sight. Um, for my mentorship program, I'm going to be trying to market that in areas like Jamaica and other Caribbean countries. And some of this will be just a natural fit, and that's the kind of thing we're looking to do. So I know my co-host is going to tell you guys about 5 things that every entrepreneur can do this month to really move themselves closer to that type of partnership. So, co-host, you want to
Yeah.
tell us a little
So
bit
so
about?
so as in everything, when we're looking at new opportunities, we have to do our research. We have to be able to make it practical, right? And see how it
Yeah,
fits in your world and how and if there's that opportunity for what you want to do, it actually exists for you. So one of the things, just like if you were coming to me and you were talking to me about starting a business, then we need to look at how do we go about doing that, right? So, what should you guys be doing today after the show? If this is an interest of yours, and your business ideas or your business actually can augment with what's already there, and you see opportunities that you can really make happen much rapid. So first thing, just like anything else, we need to research where we're going, right? So you need to not go there with your working knowledge of Jamaica. You need to go there and find out exactly what's going on, because the Jamaica yesterday, as Gilbert just said to you, is not the Jamaica today.
That's
And so
right.
you want to see where it is, right? What are they doing? What are they looking for? And how can you collaborate? That's our key word, collaborate with them. So first step, you would be researching um, Jamaica. What does that look like? What kind of what is the technology? What is the investment? What is the market access? Are there partners there for you? Right. And so then you would want to, you now want to start looking at some of the Jamaican entrepreneurs that are on LinkedIn. Start to partner, but don't go on LinkedIn and just say, "Hey, I want to do business with you." I hate that. That's a pet peeve of mine. You need to look at their LinkedIn profile and get a sense of who they are and
Yeah.
what they're doing and where their interests are. And then you might see that there's some
Some
cohesive,
synergy.
some synergy with that person. Now you reach out to them and say, "Hey, wow, you're doing so and so and so. I'm doing so and so here in America. I really like to see some of your work or whatever, whatever." But you need to develop a relationship. This is like dating. We go
Yeah.
for a coffee date first. We don't go straight to the dinner. Got that?
Yeah.
All right.
And also
Next
look
week.
at trends. Look at some of the latest trends and see how you can incorporate that in your business proposal idea.
Right, exactly. So you just want to really get a real good feel for them. Also, go over to your Facebook page, and I'm sure Jamaica has a group page and that page on Jamaica Today or Jamaica's Entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
Jamaica's on business connections and networking, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I
Become,
see a lot of those on Facebook, a
do
lot
you?
on
Yeah.
Jamaica.
So
Yeah.
connect. It doesn't cost you anything. Go to there. You go to some YouTube channels for the I think that is the actual what is it, the Jamaica's International Trade departments, and see what
Yeah.
they're talking about. Join some newsletters so that you can get a real feel. Connect with the Chamber of Commerce and of course the diaspora business organizations, kind of what I was saying. That's step 3. Step 4 is choose identify one product or service your business could offer internationally. So choose an offer and see what's on the international markets. The online or internet can give you a whole lot, guys. That's why it's out there. People are doing the same. You're doing the same thing on your platform, so they're doing it on theirs. And number 5, then start a conversation, not a sales pitch. We're building a relationship. So it's, "Hi, how are you? What you up to? What you interested in? Are you interested in some international? Let's connect," right? And I think, then you just take your natural ability. If you've been in business, you know what that's like, right? It's networking. So you want to be able to bring something to the table, not just take something away from the table. So this is me. Gilbert's gonna tell you about his part, but me, before you think globally, guys, you need to be thinking and ask yourself 5 questions. Is my business financially ready? Important question. That's number 1. Number 2, do I understand pricing internationally? Right? These are some of the questions that we need to be asking ourselves. Can I communicate professionally with overseas partners, right? So you got to understand their lingo. You got to understand how they think, because it's probably different than how you think. And can I consistently deliver my product or service? I always call this one, Gilbert, my Oprah experience, because
Yeah.
if Oprah were to discover you, you got to be ready for Oprah.
Yeah.
You just
That's
can't be
true.
walking up willy nilly to an
Yeah.
Oprah, because the Oprah experience can make or break you.
That's
So the
true.
same thing here. This could make or break you. So you
Yeah.
want to do your due diligence, you want to do your homework. And then finally, number five is, how can I build a scale? Have I built a scalable system? So this is a system that can grow in whatever environment you're in, not just, you just doing business or doing a gig or whatever. Is this a real business? And can this
Yeah.
business grow? That's basically what we're saying. And can
Right.
it grow in any space that you're in? So global opportunities require local excellence. So that means you got to come with your excellence. You cannot just be coming, uh, you know, willy nilly, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot on the line for this. And once you do it in one space, you want to be able to duplicate those same efforts in other countries as well. But you cannot do that if you are coming there unprepared. Just like you can't do that here. So
Yeah.
Gilbert's going to tell you what he feels about this
Right.
part of it.
And I'm glad you mentioned the global opportunities require local excellence, because the first thing I recommend to businesses who are trying to conduct business here locally, and also if they're trying to conduct it nationally, internationally, then they first must understand their back office. Is your back office properly set up? Does it have all the key documents that you need to run that business efficiently and demonstrate competence? Because when you're trying to do business with someone, whether locally or abroad, they're evaluating you as well to see, hey, does this person come across or seem pretty competent? Do they know what they're doing? So that's the first thing you want to do, is make sure your back office is set up properly. It's got all the key documents. Then you want to look at that country and the company there. What are the rules? What are the laws? Or what I'm trying to do, does it require a license? Can I do a licensing deal with them? Or do I have to do a teaming agreement where we have an agreement and we operate that way, where we either trade, we export stuff or import stuff? So all of that. You also want to look at, are there letters of credit that's going to be required if I do business in a foreign country? Then um, do I need to put up collateral? How does this work? What will make them want to do business with me? How soon are they expecting to be paid if we exchange product or so? Or if they provide a service to the Jamaican businesses. So those are some key things that you want to look at. You conduct a feasibility study, like my co-host said, is to check to see that what you're trying to do is something that's feasible, if it can be done. And one area of feasibility is the size of a marketplace. So if the Jamaican population is 2.8 million, 2.8 million people live there. So if that's a small market for you, then it's a small market. You don't need to try to do any uh, activity moving forward. But if that 2.8 million, which will be broken further down, to okay, 2.8 million, what percentage are women? What percentage are men? What percentage are folks over 50? What percentage are going to be folks under 15? So those are things you want to look at to see, will it be worth your while to do all this transaction in a foreign country like Jamaica. Then after you do that, then one of the things you would want to know is, okay, can I travel to this area, this country, to do business? Those are key things you want to look at. So once you establish that, and you establish, okay, how is your product or service going to solve a pain in the marketplace? How is it going to solve that pain? And then find out, why it hasn't been solved before, and how long do they it might take to resolve the issue. So those are the points I want to put out there for you guys to think about. You know, the infrastructure and the back office is very critical. You know, I see a lot of businesses, they have the infrastructure part of it, and they just squander it because they weren't really ready per se. So that's the kind of thing that I want to emphasize, guys. Readiness is very important. And as you know, my program, I always talk about business readiness, contract readiness, and funding readiness. So you want to have those three readiness areas ready for you. The business readiness, make sure your business is ready. You got all the key documents. Contract readiness, make sure you can conduct contract either with the company or the government itself. You know, keep that in mind. And then the third one is funding readiness. You know, will this person be willing to do business with me despite the fact that I don't have that much funds? So those are things you want to look at.
Exactly. But if you have a good product and you interact with and you come at them with the thought process to start to build a relationship that you're going to collaborate with, and you both have a product or a service that really has the potential to grow, then that may not be an issue. And then there may be someone else, a third party, that will invest in it. So I think this is a new frontier. And so we can't look at it, Gilbert, you know, like we look at everything else, right? So we have to look at it with different eyeballs. And we're calling this the Garvey 2.0 series for a reason, because Garvey always believed that our greatest strength wasn't just simply our shared history, but it was our shared economic potential. We have the ability. We've made people wealthy. Everybody that's right now trying to hold us back and stifle us have been made rich by us, right? And so since we've helped everyone else, now it's time for us to do this for ourselves. So one more, we're 100 years later from Marcus Garvey's when he was here and working to bring us all together. There's been things that have changed, like technology has removed the barriers that, my God, Garvey could only imagine. Muhammad Nasruddin, the founder of Recycling Black Dollars, would be in heaven right about now with all of the barriers removed for him to bring us all together. And that was the same thing, Marcus Garvey. So we can build businesses together across oceans. Now, since the pandemic, everybody knows how to use Zoom. Everybody knows how to use their phone. Everybody knows how to use WhatsApp. Everybody knows how to use Facebook Messenger in order to communicate. And so we got cloud computing, we have digital payments, and we have collaborative platforms that make it so much easier than it used to be. We don't physically have to ever get together. So it's no longer whether or not we can connect, it's whether or not we choose to build together. And so that's really what we would like you to take away from the series that we're doing. We're just wanting to build a relationship, create an act of trust, and make sure that we see that there are other opportunities available to us and that nothing is limited. But as Gilbert said, as I said, gotta be ready.
Right.
You gotta be ready.
Gotta be ready, man. Got to be ready.
So that's our show. But before we end the show, we're going to take a sample of Gilbert when he was a young man. And
some of my musical talents.
Your musical talent. Every now and then, for those of you that know Gilbert, you guys have heard a little bit of his. Well, first of all, when we play our show, Businessman, that is Gilbert singing. So we'll come out, we'll leave with that one. But right now, we're going to listen to him, and hopefully it'll play. A young Gilbert.
Let's listen to the wonderful vocals of yours truly.
Uh, so Gilbert, we may not have been with you in a class. We may have been seeing you on the stage somewhere, huh?
I'm telling you, I've been thinking about doing some more recordings, and who knows, I might be performing one
Okay,
of these
I think we
days.
would. And look at the crowd you could bring with you now.
Yeah, I know. I know.
you you got a whole network of people that would follow you, right? If a Pat or if that is on, I'm sure they'll follow you.
So, did you have it, or do you want me to reach it?
Oh, can you hear it? Yeah, go ahead. If it comes better from yours.
Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and play this. So, the song we're gonna play right now, it's called "The Businessman,"
Man.
which is
Hmm.
our soundtrack for the show. So
Okay,
let's
and I'll put it in the thing here.
yes. Let me get over here. Da 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 da. Let me do my share screen.
Okay.
So there we go. Let's see.
Let me take this down. Um, I'll
Okay.
remove this one
All
so you can
righty.
share,
And okay, there we
and I'll
go.
put them in. Okay.
All righty. So let's go. Let me know if you can hear it.
Okay.
Can you hear it?
As a small biz pro, so we roll. Using
Yep.
procurement, program and
Can you
control.
hear it?
As a small biz
Yes,
pro,
I can.
using procurement, program and control. I'm a business. I'm a businessman. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Yeah. I'm a businessman. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman. Yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Yeah. Question to you.
Oh.
Don't mention do you have my business plan? Just review the page. Up on marketing, got my capabilities, guess I'm ready to go. Have my balance sheet, my P&L, my statement of cash flow. I'm a business man, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Yeah. I'm a business man, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.
All right, that's Gilbert and his businessman, and there's a couple other songs that the links are in the chat. You guys want to hear Me No Mix, and other one actually is what is that? Vigilante.
Do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing plan. Got my capabilities.
Okay, I'll pause it for you, co-host. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Okay,
co-host.
so guys, so Gilbert he was his own musician back in the day. I guess if things had gone differently, he wouldn't be here. he,
You know, I often
he,
wonder about that co-host. I wonder what he now. If I had my first release in 1981, and then
uh-huh.
did another release in 1985. You know, this one is a more recent one. This one we did in 2016 when we started this show.
Yeah.
So this was a theme song for the show since it's all about business and entrepreneurship. So that's where we said, "So little do you have a
Right.
business plan? Those are the pages of my marketing plan." Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Don't believe the faces of my marketing plan. Got my capability statement. Yes, I'm ready to go.
There we go.
Woo-woo.
So that's Gilbert's other talent. He's so talented.
I still want to do some business with this down in Jamaica, man, because there's a few recording studios down there that I still want to, I want to do some stuff. But here are the links that we're putting in the chat. Check out the things. These links are all the songs that we recorded back in let's see, 1985, and yeah, both of these are 1985. So check
Okay.
them out. But we just wanted you guys to see the talent coming out of Jamaica, and there's still more talent down there. So you guys too can be a part of that. And I know we got Pat and Izette on here to notarize some of these contracts for us.
Right, exactly. So basically, guys, one, we want you to go. We hope this conversation inspired you. We invite you to join us on this journey. We got 25 more countries to go through the Caribbean. So come back with us every next week, and follow us on our YouTube channel, so that you're so welcome as that. Watch for our upcoming workshop series for helping you. We'll go deeper into building the practical business connections across the diaspora and what that looks like. We will make sure that you are business ready, and because the future won't be built by waiting. So this is our opportunity. This is the window. As an entrepreneur, you got to jump on an opportunity when it presents itself, because it's not going to be sitting there waiting until you make up your mind and get over your fears. That ain't how it works. You gotta do your due diligence, and if it fits and it works for you, then you jump on it. So our goal is to build entrepreneurs willing to connect, collaborate, and create opportunities together. And that's even opportunities with us. I can see Gilbert, one of the reasons that I see you here working with me, which I love. But however, I could see if there had been a Gilbert Buchanan teaching Gilly Buchanan how to protect his music, Gilbert Buchanan probably wouldn't be sitting here. So I see that as definitely an opportunity for you to teach somebody how to make sure they protect their assets and build a business around that asset so nobody can take it away from them. Would you agree?
I totally agree. That is because I have learned so much over the years. Some of these songs I recorded back in 1981, I got no royalties for it. I got no royalties, $0.
Yeah.
I probably got about $200. That's it. But in terms of the royalties, man, nothing. So I want to.
Right. So now,
up and coming musicians. They protect themselves against this type of stuff.
Right. How to protect their assets, how to get royalties, how to make money off of your talents, and all those sorts of things. So there's so much opportunity here, not just for you guys, but for us as well. We see a mega of opportunities, and that's why we're bringing it to you, because that's what we do, right? We don't keep stuff for ourselves. We could, but that would be no fun. And so we want to become successful with everybody, so that way we have somebody to hang out with. So, all right, so we're not lonely. So with that, guys, that's our show for the day. Next week we will be venturing into our next I gotta see who that is though. Our next country. And if you have any questions, you will find this information up on our YouTube channel. I will put some other resources there. There are so many opportunities. There's so many. Jamaica is Gilbert. As I was sitting here listening and talking, Jamaica is ready to build and to connect with other people. They have put together networking event, networking platforms on how to connect. So this one is a really great one, and this is a great time to do that because they are celebrating their independence of 64 years, and the country is growing. So this is when you get in on the bottom when they're growing, and you bring your expertise in, and then you could be part of that process and to help. Our goal is to go across the diaspora and make us each stronger than we were before, but working together as Jamaica says, we are many, but we're one. Is that what it was?
That's
one,
right. Out of many, we're one. Yes.
One. We are one. So that's our motto. Out of many, there is one, and we all came from the same pot. So we're just going to work together to grow us. So with that, guys, have a fantastic weekend. We will see you next Friday, same time. But go over to our channel. If this was of any interest, you enjoyed this conversation, please share it with friends and family and other colleagues that you have so that we all can get the information on the ground floor. We're at the elevator, floor 1. We are going up to floor 26. So follow us on up there, guys. So we'll see you guys next week.
As a small biz pro, that's how we roll. Using procurement, program, and control. As a small biz pro, that's how we grow. Using procurement, program, and control. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur.